I think it's actually working. Ah, okay. So I have seen so many people come on here, and I'm going to try and keep my head up so that it doesn't, you don't see that huge light up there from the bathroom. But I have seen so many people come on here and talk about their experience with ketamine infusions, and I wanted to talk about my experience. And I'm going to try and keep my introduction short and sweet, because there's nothing more annoying than clicking on a video to hear about somebody's experience with something, and you want to get the information from the video, and all they do is go on and on and on about their introduction, why they made the video, and this and that, and you're like, okay, just get to the freaking point. Anyways, so here's my experience. I was in a car accident last December of 2018, and it caused a lot of damage in my back. And I went to see a lot of surgeons, and they all told me that I needed surgery. And due to some history that I have with a blood disorder, I was unable to have the surgery. To find some sort of a way to either deal with the pain that I had, tried to seek out as much information as I could. And one thing I didn't want to do is get on opiates, get addicted to painkillers, because I do see that, and it is epidemic in this country, and I didn't want to be one of those people. I didn't want to open Pandora's box and go down a spiral of, getting addicted to painkillers. So I opted to try something different, and I sought out ketamine infusions. I did some research on it, and like you, I found a video on YouTube, and it kind of just popped up out of nowhere, and I started listening to it. And this guy was talking about how he had ketamine infusions for chronic pain and how it helped him. And I was instantly interested in if it was research on it, and there's pros and cons. Let's start with the cons. It's expensive, not gonna lie. If you're somebody who's on a budget and you don't have a lot of cash, or you have bad credit, you might not be able to do it. And that's why I'm making this video, because I want to create awareness, and I want it to get to the point where insurance companies are covering this. And I don't know that it's going to get to that point anytime soon. I don't know. Ketamine is an old drug, so don't think that it's new. It's old. It's been around for a very long time. It's nothing new. What's new is the way that they're using it. They're giving it a low dose intravenously to patients for pain, for depression, for other chronic diseases. I think there's some other conditions that they're using it for. I don't know all of them. I'm not an expert on it by any means. I'm only here to tell you my experience about it. I can tell you that the clinic that I went to offered financing, so that if you weren't able to cough up thousands of dollars up front, they did offer a financing option. So if you at least had decent credit, you didn't have to have amazing credit, but at least decent, you were able to qualify for their financing, which enabled you to go ahead and get the treatment, have it done, and then make payments. And that's what I opted to do because I didn't want to cough up several $1,000s up front. So that's what I did. Um, it helped. Um, Another con to it is it's not permanent. It's not going to give you permanent pain relief. You're going to have one time and your pain's going to be gone forever. It's going to come back. So that's something that's highly individualized. For one person, they may say, well, I had relief for months. And another person may say, well, I only had relief for about a week. So something that is going to be individualized to you based on what your issues are and based on your chemistry in your body. And that's not something that the doctor's going to be able to tell you ahead of time. They're just not. So don't go into a clinic thinking that anyone's trying to scam you and trying to just get your money to get your treatment. They don't know. They don't know how it's going to work on you. A single treatment that you get will be different. It will feel you'll have a different experience, and they're not gonna lie, they're weird. Ketamine is a derivative of PCP, which is a drug, and it's bizarre. So when you go to have your infusions, they can get pretty weird. I've had 7 infusions. My third one, I did have the dissociative feelings where I started to panic. And it was a very scary feeling for me. What I felt was I couldn't figure out what was reality and what was not reality. I knew that I came to the clinic for a treatment. I knew that in my head, and as I was sitting there in the infusion chair getting my infusion, I knew that that was the reason that I was there. But what I couldn't figure out was if the treatment was over and this was the reality that I was in, and this is the way the world was, or if the treatment was still going on and this is why everything was so weird. And so it was very scary because everything was weird. Everything was fuzzy. I couldn't talk. I knew what I wanted to say, and I think the only word that I could get out was help. And I just remember smacking my hand on the recliner chair that I was sitting in and saying, help, because I didn't know what else to do because I couldn't figure out if the treatment was done and, everything was finished or what was going on. I was basically clueless at that point. Out of my 7 infusions, that was the only time that happened. After that time, when I came back for my 4th one, they were a little nervous that I was gonna either get skittish and not want to do it again. And I said, no, I'm doing it again. And I was going to be brave and do it. And by the way, back to my third infusion where I did get skittish and freak out and have that bad dissociative perception feeling. Once it wore off, I was totally fine, completely fine. It was just during that 10 minutes or so when it was going on, you know, up the infusion and I came to, it was just very scary. And, the first thing that they did is they came in and they gave me Versed, which is, an IV anti-anxiety to help me kind of, calm down and relax and come back to reality to figure out what was going on. So that helped me out quite a bit. So when I came back for my fourth, like I said, they were a little afraid that I was going to have that experience again. And I was too. So this time what they did is they did a little pre-medication and they gave me some Versed ahead of time before the infusion. And so my experience with having the Versed prior to the infusion made it very different. It quite the thing. I still had a nice calm feeling and all of that, but I didn't feel like I had the full-on effect of the ketamine. So my recommendation is if you can go without the Versed, do it. I have read studies that say that Versed, which is a benzodiazepine, can counteract with the ketamine, and I don't know if it's 100% true. Like I said, this is just something that I've read, but I have read that it can potentially decrease the effectiveness. And like I said, I don't know if that's 100% true. Because I don't know why they would constantly be giving it everywhere if it were true. But I've read it a number of places, I can tell you that. Just saying. So my suggestion would be that if you can avoid the Versed and do the treatment without it, I would. That's just my suggestion. You don't have to take it. You can totally get the infusion with the Versed and maybe you might have an awesome experience and you might have, an amazing outcome, and I hope that you do. That's just my recommendation. So that was for my fourth infusion they did, and then my fifth infusion they did, and then for my sixth, I said, because like I said, I had read that material. I said, can we maybe back off a little bit on the Versed? And they had given me just a little baby dose of the Versed. And so on my sixth and seventh infusion, they had only given me like half of the dose of the Versed, as they did on the fourth and fifth infusions. And I was totally fine on all of those. The only infusion where I really tweaked out was that third one. The first two were amazing. Actually, they were all really amazing except for that third one. I don't know why. Actually, the first one I had was the most amazing. I do remember getting very upset on my first one and just sitting in the recliner crying, being very upset because my dog had just passed a couple weeks, maybe a month prior. And And he was the first thing that popped into my head during my infusion. And like I said, it's ketamine is a derivative of PCP, so you're gonna have some strange thoughts going through your head. Okay, I mean, you're gonna be thinking some wild shit. And my dog popped into my head, and I was a mermaid, my dog was a mermaid, and we were in the ocean swimming. Okay, so here I am swimming with my dog in the ocean, and then all of a sudden I realized I don't have my dog anymore. And then I got upset, and I was sitting in the recliner like tearing up, and but it wasn't the disassociative kind of feeling. It was just a sadness, um, because of what I was thinking about, and I think that was totally normal. But you're gonna think some wild thoughts. My best suggestion is to pick a type of music that you like and listen to that the entire infusion. Whatever kind of music you like. I initially thought maybe like some spa, like, type of thing you would hear, like if you're getting a massage, something like that you would hear like at a med spa kind of thing. That's what I listened to the first couple times, and that was okay. And then eventually I kind of transitioned to listening to stuff that I am more likely to listen to at home, which is more like house music, hip hop, that kind of thing. And I'd make a playlist and I would listen to that, and I would do just fine. And I would sit there, and during my infusion, I would just, in my head, I would think about all of the things that I wanted to do and get done. And I just don't have anything bad to say about it. And I really do strongly recommend it to anybody. The only two downfalls to it that I really have, and excuse me, I did close my wine. Which sucks because insurance is not going to cover it, and you don't know how long it's going to work, if it's going to work at all, and how long it's going to last. So what you want to do is you want to find a good clinic, a clinic that booster, maybe they're going to offer you a discount. The place that I went was $500 per infusion. That's expensive. They did give me a little bit of a discount when I came back for my the first setup was 6 infusions, and then when I came back for my 7th, that was a booster, and they gave me a discount on my 7th infusion. They only charged me $4.50, $50, but still, every little bit helps. So find a clinic that is going to, value you as a client and follow up with you and treat you with true respect and really, really, genuinely want to help you. I mean, where I went, they were just so sweet. I mean, they really were. And you're probably thinking, well, you just paid them a ton of money. Well, of course I did, because I was getting treatments done and insurance wasn't covering it. But I mean, they were just, I mean, they people. And I remember on my 6th infusion, which, when I thought was going to be my last one, which I ended up coming back for a 7th, but on my 6th infusion, before I left, the doctor gave me a hug. I mean, it was like, they were just they seem like such nice people, and I would strongly recommend them. I'm not gonna name where I went because um I want to kind of keep some privacy to myself and to them. Um, but I also want to educate people on ketamine infusions in general, and I see so many videos, so many. I still look some up myself, even though I've already had the infusions done, and I still like to watch them and hear people's reactions just to see what they have to say. And some videos are done by doctors, and some videos are done by patients, and you hear all kinds of different things, and it's just so interesting to hear people's different reactions and how they handled it, and I just love hearing all about it. So if you have any different thoughts, or if you have one yourself, I would love to hear about it too, because that's kind of why I made this video. If anyone even watches it at all, I'll be excited. um so yeah, but I bottom line is I did get some relief. I did get some pain relief. Not total. I did get some. Like I said, I did have to go back for a booster, which obviously should tell you that I'm probably gonna have to go back for another one. But that's something that I'm prepared to do, and I'm trying to stay positive about it. And I hope that somebody out there watching this video will go ahead and give it a try, and I hope it works for them too. Okay.